Welcome back. In this section, we will see how to use real IOs, that's the actual IOs on the hardware. As you can see in this, there are 3 devices and they right now communicate over virtual IOs, that is using some kind of communication methodology. But we want to use the actual IOs. So we should add now some function blocks to this program so that we can configure and use the IOs. In this first lesson, we will configure the IceBlocks, and in the next lesson, we will configure the next mini. That's the model. Okay. First, we will get rid of all the connections that are not required. That is everything but this one. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and delete all the connections. Because these will now be connected to the actual hardware's IOs. Okay, and let's move this bit down and on top so that we can still differentiate these sections and at the same time add new blocks. I accidentally double clicked there. That's why that window opened up. Okay. Let's start with this one. NxtStudio uses a concept called symbolic links to achieve interacting with the actual IOs. Without spending too much time explaining what this is, I think giving an example and showing how to do it will clarify this. To first add input blocks that create symbolic links, we shall add a block called symlink multivariable destination. Okay, this one, and you add that here. We need to configure this. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's have 4 values. And you see some red mark here. That's because the type of that is set to any. We need to say what is the type of that input. Okay, now that is done. Now let's give a constant value to this one. Basically, it has to be true if this block has to work. And we give some names to it. And now these are the names that will appear as symbolic links, which you can then map to the actual IO. Let's start adding names. Now this format has to be saved. It will start with $$ and path, and then whatever name you want to give will be after the closing bracket and before the closing quotes. What we will do is we will take whatever name is there here, a short form of that, and add in to it, saying that it's for input. Okay, so this is lift retracted in. This one is lift extended in. This is called luggage arrived in, and this is called luggage lifted in. Okay, and now you should be able to make these connections. What it means is that any value that comes to this symbolic link will be passed on to these variables. Okay, and go ahead and confirm. So anytime these values change, a confirmation event will be sent, and that will pass these values to it, and so on and so forth. And we will see soon how to connect this symbolic link to the actual IO in the device. Before that, we shall also add a block on this side. Let's call this one lift control input instead of generic names such as FP1, because it would be confusing if there are multiple FP1s and things like that. The other side, we need something called Symlink multi-var source, SRC. So Control W, Symlink multi-var source. Okay. Similar thing, and in this case we need two values, and again we need to tell what is the type of these values. It should be connected to value, not name, and they should be connected to value as well. Similarly, a constant value of true, and the name, we use the same format, extend lift out, retract lift out. Okay, what we need to do is now map this two devices as well. By holding Control, you can set multiple select and map it to the first device, which is where this one is mapped. So once you map that, if you go back to the device, you will see that here. So just drag it down so that it's not overlapping. There seems to be multiple of these. I'm not sure where they are coming from, but let's delete them. Okay, just to go back to the app and see that it's not deleted. Yes. Maybe by mistake I added two of those. That's why they're there. Okay. Now we need to change the sequence. So because we don't want this one to init this one, instead it will init this, and then this sequence will continue. Next thing is to map these variables. For that, we go to hardware configuration, right click and say add. In the box, you will add the IceBlock, because now we are configuring the IceBlock. Say OK, and you will see the IceBlocks is 4 inputs and 4 outputs here. And you'll also see the symbolic links that are available to be used in this device. And you see those because you mapped those two symbolic link function blocks to this device. Now we need to map them out. How do we map them out? It's connected on the actual hardware in the order in which this is present. That is, this is 0, 1, 2, and 3. This is 0 and 1 on the output. So if we go back to this device and hardware configuration, you will see that there are 4 inputs and 4 outputs, and we have 4 input configured, and then only we're going to use only 2 of them. In the, what was the order? The order was lift retracted, lift extended, luggage arrived, luggage lifted. That's what we have to do. Go back, lift retracted. We just click on it, hold the click, drag and drop it. Now what you're doing by this is you're mapping your symbolic link names to the actual input or output. So this is the device that is representing the actual device, and these are the actual device IOs that it is mapped to. Similarly, we have luggage arrived, and then we have luggage lifted. Retracted, extended, arrived, lifted. Let's check that. Lift, retracted, extended, arrived, lifted. Okay. Similarly, extend, lift, retract, lift, out. Every time you say it will just ask for a confirmation. Do you want to change the hardware configuration? You say yes. So just checking extend, lift and retract, lift. So that mapping looks fine, and that device seems to be all good. We will now do the same thing for this one. Let's also rename this. This is lift control out, and this is going to be pusher control input. Since we use the word input, let's use the word output here. And this is also going to be 4 values, and this comes here. Okay, and we just need one of them. And this is called extend pusher out. And this will be called pusher retracted in, and this will be called pusher extended in. Okay. Similarly, make this connection, connect the values, and this is going to be pusher control output. Okay, let's save that. Because we didn't make this connection, go ahead and make that connection. And the last thing is to map them to the second device, second IceBlock device. Okay, so it's the same order: retracted, extended, arrived, and lifted. So let's go back here, hardware configuration. Before that, let's adjust that. Again, I seem to, when I made a copy paste, I seem to have added additional devices, and this one will now get connected here. Okay, seems like it, looking good. And hardware configuration, remember, retracted, extended, arrived, and lifted. Add IceBlock, and you can see that symbolic links. By the way, in case this window is not visible, you can go to view and say symbolic links. Okay. Retracted, extended, lift arrived, and luggage arrived and luggage lifted, and there's only one output. It's connected to the first one. Okay, that is where we will end this lesson, and in the next lesson we will configure the next mini device. Before we end, let's just do this so that we know that these devices belong here to this frame. Okay. Okay. See you in the next lesson.